This is going to be the first video of a new series where I go through and kind of rate, like, I guess, first, I don't really know how to explain it, but basically I'm going through all the ships in World of Warships and making a comment on them about something, like maybe if it's like, I like the play style, I like its looks or so. Basically I'm fucking going through, yeah, basically I'm fucking going through and saying what's my favorite and why it's my favorite. But I'm going through everything, so there's also gonna be shit that I'm like, yeah, this shit's fucking ugly. So that's how I'm explaining that shit, so let's get into it. The first is gonna be most of the ships here are ones that aren't in the store, so I'll go through these ones, then I'm gonna go through Tech Tree, then I'm gonna go through the store. Alright, Samson. I do like the playstyle of this destroyer, but I more like the looks of it compared to, like, I got a better tier 2 destroyer that hint that I like the playstyle more of, but I still find her design interesting, along with a lot of the other 4-stacker American destroyers. I will be listing most of these ships down because I do want to draw a good amount of them. It's also been a while since I looked at all the ships in the game, so that's another reason why I'm going to list them all down. So just saying there, but yeah, that's kind of, yeah, Samson. Pretty interesting looking ship. Next, Smith. Definitely my favorite tier 2 when it comes down to playstyle, because of the, like, how rapid her fucking torpedo tubes reload and the amount of guns she has. I'm not a big fan of the looks of the kind of just, yeah, let's just put a tarp there and call it a bridge. I'm not really a big fan of that, but playstyle wise, probably definitely my favorite tier 2 destroyer. So I'm gonna just go mark that down. Next is Charleston, which I guess I'll probably kind of include her sister ship, St. Louis, because they're basically the same. Playstyle wise, so many fucking guns. Looks wise, it just has that, like, that one kind of not quite World War One era, but like very close to it, like early 1900s era look to it. Which is probably say that most of this stuff's my opinion on it, on the ships. I'd say kind of just mid. I don't like the look, but I don't hate it. It's kind of there. USS Arkansas. Playstyle wise, probably my favorite tier 3 battleship. Looks wise, I prefer other builds of the Wyoming class battleships, as because these were a lot earlier built ships. They did go through several reconstructions in their life. Like, I believe this may have been the as built configuration, but then if we went over to Wyoming real quick, I believe this was their last battleship configuration, because they were still used in their next configuration, but most of their turrets got replaced with the twin 5-inch mounts. So, yeah, Arkansas, definitely 100% my favorite tier 3 battleship. So just let me write this down. If I can fucking spell Arkansas right. Next is South Carolina. I do like a lot of the pre-dreadnought ships in which that there were that there were more in the game, though I'm not a big fan of I don't know what the term is for those masks. I know they're called like something specific. I think it's like the wire spoke mask or some shit like that. I do much prefer. Watch, this ship's not gonna have. Yeah, this ship's not really gonna have a fucking mast. Of course, does NJ have one? No, dude. None of these ships have the fucking mask that I'm gonna talk about. The motherfucker. Well, I do like the kind of straight pipe-looking one. None of these motherfuckers have the mask out. Alright, well, basically the fucking tripod mask that Arizona has. We'll get to that later, but looks-wise, just kind of... I don't really like the looks of this ship. It's kind of one of those... There's some ships in the game that you kind of can't tell what part's the front and what's the back from a distance. Like, if I saw this from a distance, I mean, obviously I'd probably figure out that that's the front, but from a distance, that last gun kind of blends in. But yeah, and don't really like the playstyle. Probably my least favorite American battleship. Actually, no, my second least favorite. California. Other than the fact of... Wait, is that her bridge up there? I think that might... Alright, never mind. I was gonna say other than the fact of I can't find where the fuck this ship's bridge is, but I think I just found it. There is so much AA on this ship. I did not know it's like that possible to do that. Looks wise, I don't really like it, but gameplay wise, pretty solid US battleship. I think it's like the best tier 5 for US. So let me just... I think maybe I should draw all the battleships like together in one drawing, depending on how many there are. But yeah, I do, and especially when the carriers try to focus you. Although it would be even better if the ship was a bit faster. But next is our first campaign ship, Destroyer Black. I do fairly like the Fletcher class destroyers, and I like the I like the game style for Black. Although I don't use her as much as I probably should. That's just because I'm used to playing anything but tier 7, because tier 7 used to be expensive. Still haven't quite adjusted since they added tier 8, so I'm still usually stuck around tier 5 or 4, even though... Well, not stuck around, but... Yeah, Black definitely, and the paint scheme, just matte white on any ship looks good, and you cannot change my mind. Like, I honestly think it would turn the fucking... What was the one ship that I completely fucking hate? This one, Kansas. I honestly think it would even look good on Kansas, and I fucking hate Kansas. But yeah, so there's Black. Definitely one of the best campaign ships I got. Battleships, New Jersey, gameplay style, love it. The historical history of the ship, love it. Looks, fucking pinnacle of 1940s battleships. And other than that, also might be a little bit more biased because I was on the ship on real life, which is probably the reason I play this game, now that I think about it. So, yeah, and I'm a big fan of the Iowa class, so, yeah. New Jersey is definitely up there. Next ship, although I did... Paint scheme wise, the only thing I don't like is how it looks like a rubber band there. Like, it doesn't look like a normal... Like, if we take this off, how you can see the lines of the bridge. I kind of wish that was there on the fucking paint scheme, but it's still cool. Aircraft carrier Saipan, kind of looks like a bit odd because of how wide the flight deck is compared to the hull. Gameplay wise, I do like it. It's a small target, so if you do get spot compared to the fucking monstrous Lexington, and yeah, pretty good, but not quite good enough to be put on my favorites list. Next, Battlecruiser Alaska. Already fucking 10 plus points on the list because of the paint scheme. It just looks kind of like a mini Iowa. Pretty cool looking. The only thing I don't like is the big gap here. Personally, if I designed it, I would have kept the aviation stuff at the stern, and I'd probably like kind of fill in that gap, maybe throw in 2 more 5s in the middle there and more AA. Although it is a shame that A, half this class got canceled, and B, they never saw any service and ended up getting scrapped, so that kind of sucks, but it's still a very beautiful ship. So put that down for Battlecruiser. Next is Des Moines. Let me take off this paint scheme. The bridge kind of annoys me, like that double bridge. Like if the top part wasn't there, then I'd like it. Or if the top part like didn't have the glass up there, it'd be better. But I mean, it's still pretty good. And gameplay wise, not counting Alaska, definitely my favorite cruiser. Well, heavy cruiser, definitely my favorite heavy cruiser. Just overall cruiser wise, other than Alaska, probably my favorite cruiser. Only thing is I don't like that you have to like choose between, was it radar and catapult fighter? But I guess that'd be a bit too overpowered, and I do apologize for continuously yawning. I'm a bit tired, so let's add that to the list. And this is my way on making a tier list, because I don't fucking know how everyone else does it. Worcester. I fucking hate going against these, because it's like, I mean, even though it's not really doing as much damage, it just feels like you're taking a lot more damage. Looks wise, pretty good light cruiser. Also got like the triple turret thing that I was saying, and actually it got it on the back too, so that's pretty cool. Gameplay wise, I do like this one until I forget I'm in a light ass cruiser and then try to fucking spearhead like a battleship. But other than that, Worcester, my opinion, pretty cool. Not pretty cool, pretty good, and I should probably learn how to play it better. So I'm also gonna add this one to the fucking tier list from Wish, aka just a fucking Google document. When I get done this video, what I'll do is I'll fucking reorganize it all and put it down. I'd make like a post on my community tab of the tier list. Montana, bigger Iowa class. I'm not sure if it's necessary to be that much more bigger to include one more turret. I really kind of feel like the ship could at least be like 50 foot shorter. Other than that, I do like it. I mean, it just kind of looks a bit too big to where everything's just kind of too much spread out. But yeah, I'd say yeah, I'd probably say Fuck, what was the, how was the tier list supposed? Alright, S tier like favorites. So I'd probably say like A or B tier for this ship. And then last for these ones is Midway. Definitely my favorite looking carrier. Why the hell do I keep yawning? I did not yawn at all today, and now I'm just fucking continuously yawning. I do really like the longer carriers. Like, Lexington's cool, but Lexington's kind of an egg-shaped. Where this is, I'd say, like, I don't think this is much different than Lexington. It's just that this one's not as egg-shaped. It's more built like a 2x4. Gameplay-wise, I believe the planes need like an armor buff. Like that's what I believe, because every time, like, even if I use it versus AI, where the AI is like dumb as hell, like I still can only get one attack run in before I lose my entire squadron. So I do think that the planes should get a buff. Other than that, I do have soft spot for most World War II era carriers. Midway being my favorite carrier. So where do I not have? Oh, here's aircraft carriers. Midway. What is so many goddamn fucking notifications? Alright, anyway. Tech tree, I think I'm gonna go like destroyer, then cruiser, then light cruiser, then, well, alternative cruiser, and then all of that. Destroyer wise, Wicks, I don't really like, and it's really all down to that bridge. That's really all I gotta say about that, although I do like the large amount of torpedoes. Clemson, I like better, like a lot better than Wicks, so that's better enough to be put on my list. If I can fucking spell its name right. A lot more guns, it's like a, kind of an even gunboat destroyer. Pretty good. Farragut, also good. I really like a lot of the kind of in between, like a lot of in between the four piper and then this general style destroyers. I like a lot of ones in between it. So Farragut is also good. I believe it's also one of the, because I know there's some ships that like kind of poke ahead compared to other ships at their tier, and I believe Farragut's one of those. I still don't know how to pronounce this one's name, and that does bother me. But it's basically a Farragut with one extra rack of torpedoes, and the third gun moved in a better location, so yeah, that's... I should really learn how to pronounce this ship's name. Benson, I don't really, I'm not really a big fan. Just kind of, it looks like a Fletcher, but like they made it stubbier. Fletcher, definitely what I think of when I hear the word destroyer. My mind goes straight to thinking like the kind of generic Fletcher layout, like the, what I'd say generic, 2 Torbraks, 5 guns, and I don't really think too much, well, depth charge racks on the back, and I don't really think too much for the AA layout. God damn, why do I keep yawning? So, yeah, there's Fletcher, Alan M. Somners. I don't really like I don't like this ship specifically, but I do like one of the ships in it. Well, it's considered a subclass, but it might just be this configuration. But one of the sister ships in this class was a mine. Was it called a destroyer mine layer? Which basically, if you don't know what that is, which I didn't know it existed until I found that out. The main armament is literally the same as any other destroyer. The only difference is the torpedo tubes got removed, and on the sides here, and I believe probably also where torpedo tubes were, they moved around to AA and then just put naval mine tracks there so they can lay mines. So it's basically just a destroyer that can also lay mines. Oh, this one has a tripod mast. I'm not sure if it was this recording that I was talking about it. But the sister ship, one of the sister ships of this class, USS Shea, goes on my favorite list as that was the ship that brought my great-grandfather back from World War II. Well, not brought it, well, yeah, kinda. If it didn't get sunk by the kamikaze that went straight through the bridge, then he wouldn't have made it back, because he was a crew member on that ship, so... yeah. Cruiser-wise, Albany. I fucking love this paint scheme. This is, like, perfect. I'm not sure what I like more, this or the paint scheme that Britannic has, like the World War I hospital ship one. Gameplay-wise, and I don't really play Tier 1. But other than that, yeah, that's kinda... Also, some ships might be on here for, like, how they were in history, like, if they have, like, a great story or something like that. So let me just add this one onto the list. And then after this, by after this, I mean probably tomorrow, I will make a refined list and then post in the community tab. Basically, already talked about this ship. Kinda just mid. Phoenix. I do like the more square bridge than what they ended up going for with the Scout Cruiser design. It has like a kind of a nice front part, but once you get like past the second smokestack, it just kind of looks weird. So, but I mean, still like from this angle and stuff, it looks good. So, although it is sad, well, not really sad, but it is kind of sad that this is a paper ship, which for those of you that don't know was one that was designed on paper but never built. The next ship we will get to is what ended up becoming, well, the design that, no, I think this evolved into that design, and that's what they ended up doing, which is Omaha. I really wish they stuck with the square bridge, but other than that, definitely kind of a lot better, especially because this one has airplanes. The only thing is, I do wish they had their bridge was different looking. Like, if it was just square like that, it'd be damn near perfect. Gameplay-wise, great. Just overall spammer until you show your broadside and get fucked up by literally... You get, like, citadeled by literally everything. So, yeah, Omaha, Phoenix, pretty good. At this point, I kind of consider them... I would consider them sister ships, as they're basically like... Or one could be a subclass or another, but yeah. Pensacola, I do find her design a lot interesting, like this kind of era, the 1920s and 30s US, I believe they're nicknamed treaty cruisers. Only thing that bothers me from the ship is that it has the two 3-3-2. Like it would bother me less if it was at least 3-2. Like if it was flipped around, because it just kind of looks like top heavy because of that. Although I wish I did have Pensacola so I could show the. I more prefer her upgraded, her hull B design. So yeah, that's basically Pensacola. I kind of don't really know what to say much about a lot of these ships, because I know, like, the main point is to kind of just get my general reaction to a lot of the stuff, but because I'm so used to World of Warships, maybe I should have started out with War Thunder, because I don't really know what's all in that game, but World of Warships is kind of just basically going over design. New Orleans, I don't really like. I mean, I believe I saw pictures on Wikipedia of a different build for the New Orleans class that I did prefer, but I generally don't really like the New Orleans class, mainly because of how the back is. Like, if that was if right there wasn't like that big, like if that deck siding went at least there, may be different, but I don't really like the look of this ship. Baltimore, I do like. Baltimore is usually kind of what I think of when I think of heavy cruiser. Think of Baltimore or Pittsburgh, which is another Baltimore class ship. Not gonna lie, I wouldn't mind if Pittsburgh was added to the game, even though it would literally be a reskin of Baltimore. Mainly because I do like Pittsburgh's story. So, yeah. Buffalo, I don't really necessarily like the design, I just more find it interesting. Like, I think the bridge kind of looks weird having most of the windows, like, put out, but other than that, just kind of mid, but, like, not mid enough to be not put on the list, just normal mid. So, yeah, Buffalo. Buffalo's also a paper ship, by the way, as well as Dallas. Again, with the weird, like, I would much prefer it to just be all, like, straight 2-2-2-2. But Dallas is kind of also mid as well. Although Dallas does have an airplane. Helena, as well as the, what was the other one? Was it the Boise? The triple turret in the front. We'll also see this when we get to the video with the Japanese ships. I really like the triple turret design at the front. So that, I do really like the Brooklyn class. I kind of wish there was the Brooklyn class instead, but I mean, we eventually got a member of the Brooklyn class. I just kind of wish it was a different one put there to show better progression. Yet again, maybe this one may have been better AA-wise. Superstructure-wise, they're different. Other than that, they're kind of the same. I believe Helena's considered, I think I already said that, but I believe considered a subclass, as well as St. Louis. I forget which, I think St. Louis was the first one, so it would be considered a St. Louis subclass of the Brooklyn class cruisers. So that's kind of interesting. Yet again, if you went by how they did the subclasses for ships, you could definitely consider some classes ships that are sister ships and have differences as subclasses. Cleveland, also good. Basically the smaller gun version of Des Moines. I remember when I first got the game, I was like, what the fuck is the difference between Des Moines and Cleveland? Until I realized, wait, Des Moines has bigger guns. Like, as far as I knew, the only difference was that Cleveland had an extra gun, but yeah, Des Moines has bigger guns that do hit better. Wait, Des Moines? No, fucking Baltimore. That's what I meant, not Des Moines. And then one of the newcomers, Seattle. The funny thing about this was I wasn't streaming, but I was playing World of Warships. I believe I was on a video call, not a video call. I believe I was just on like a call with one of my friends, BTC Productions probably. And I was saying like I think it was like the day or 2 days before they released the trailer. I was like, you know, since they got Tier 8, I wish they would round out and add the Tier 8 for the alternative American cruiser line, battleship line, and then the other alternative lines. And I was like, for the alternative American cruiser line, aka the light cruiser line, I think they should do Seattle, as I know Seattle's in the other version of the game. And then like 2 days later, it gets released, and I'm like, hell yeah! Even though I'm not a cruiser person and would probably was looking more forward to the battleship, it just kind of made me, just the fact of like before it was like right before it was announced, I was like, man, I really hope they add this ship to the game, even though I kind of literally don't really give a fuck about it. It's just a light cruiser, and at this point it's just like, why do that when I could probably play Cleveland and not lose out with as much money that I lose, or go a tier ahead and play Worcester. Looks wise, kind of interesting again, although I don't really know the difference. I mean, there's probably some reason why the turrets are different, but the turrets kind of look too wide and not like long enough. But yeah, so that's my opinions on Seattle. Next is the battleship line. Now, basically what I could do for the entire thing, for the main battleship line, is shit's basically fucking perfect. Wyoming, I do like the look of. I do kind of wish her bridge was more noticeable, but it kind of has that, I guess, deck on the top going over it. Although I wish she also did have the aircraft catapult on top of turret 2. But yeah, Wyoming is, I do like the whole B variant, not the original like base Wyoming. Which I do have a character named Wyoming, which is not named after a state, named after the ship. Although I believe my character Alaska is named after the state, and then the other ones I'm like, well, you know what, they're named after states, so I'm gonna just go through battleships and see what names I like. New York, playstyle wise, I don't really like New York. I would probably use Texas, but looks wise, they're about the same, and I do like the looks of them. So yeah, New York's kind of just mid, but like not mid enough to be excluded from the list. Also, these videos might be the ongoing videos for a while, because I have just like so many of them I want to do, and I don't really have that much other content planned. Well, I actually have a lot more content planned, and I should probably start doing daily uploads for a bit to try to get them all, or at least like upload as much as I can to try to get them all out. New Mexico, definitely, other than Arizona, definitely my favorite American standard, which is kind of what this style of battleship's called. Which, yeah, I do love the New Mexico class, which, I forget the name, I think it was like Maryland or Idaho. I believe those were the other two New Mexico class ships. One of them was the last one to do a battleship on battleship salvo. Just like the last, just period, the last in history. Next is Colorado, which Colorado was my first ship above tier 5 that I got. And when I came to the sad realization that if I don't do good in a battle, I'm not gonna earn that much back and probably lose credits. Or wait, yeah, credits. Looks wise, I mean, it doesn't really have the best looking bridge, but other than that, I still really enjoy the looks, like all the scattered AA and all that, as well as the 16-inch guns are always very nice to enjoy. Although I never have the mindset that, yeah, I got 16s when I play Colorado. I usually only have that mindset with really tier 7s and up. So, yeah. Fuck. I spelled fucking Colorado wrong. Also, just opinion based on what everyone says, because I think, well, I don't think that really goes anymore. Yeah, never mind. I was gonna say, because, like, for the longest time, I think Colorado was the only state that allowed weed. I'd say, like, as a joke, they should do, like, a livery that, like, adds, like, a fucking pot leaf, like, on top of turret, too. Just for the jokes, but I don't think World of Warships is like how Call of Duty released a fucking 420 pack. Next, Iowa, the sister of New Jersey. Again, perfect. I do like all the Iowa class. Besides Missouri, I think Missouri is overrated a bit. So, I mean, Missouri is overrated for a good reason, but I think just a lot more overrated. Like, everyone kind of skips over all the other Iowa class unless it's specifically about them and specifically talks about Missouri. And then we got Maine. Suffers from the 2-3-3-2. But other than that, pretty much the same. Pretty much the same as the legendary tier sister ship, so Maine goes on the list. Although probably a little bit below her legendary tier sister. Now the alternative line. Nevada. The ship that would not sink. I am a bit disappointed. Like, I was kind of hoping that Nevada, her hull B was going to be her post-Pearl build. Like, kind of similar to how California's was. But, I don't know, with how they're doing, like, 2 different versions of ships, maybe we'll get, like, a Nevada 45 or 44 in the future. But I still do really like this current look. Like, it looks kind of just like a mini Pennsylvania class. Although when we get to Arizona, like, the Nevada class, they kind of seem like Nevada and Oklahoma seem a bit, like, slumped down. Like, they're kind of holding their head down a bit. Compared to Arizona and when Pennsylvania was in, I believe it was the 1940 build, it was called. How Pennsylvania, Arizona, their bridge is, like, a level up, so it kind of just looks like they're, like, up more proud. Like, they just don't look, like, slumped over. So, yeah, if that makes sense. And now I'm struggling to spell Nevada. That's because I'm fucking spelling it with an A like an idiot. Alright. Tennessee. I'm not really a big fan of Tennessee. I mean, I do like the look of the hull, but that doesn't really matter. To me, what matters most is how the superstructure looks, and I'm not really a big fan of Tennessee. I mean, it probably looks so much, but, well, A, this gap right here, B, how it kind of looks like a tower. Like, I don't really like the look of it that much. So, yeah. Next is North Carolina. I don't have the whole B, so I'm not sure how different that is, but kind of all, well, in a sense, yeah, basically is like a mini Iowa class. Just with a more rounded. It is getting hot in here. I might need to turn on the air conditioner. Which I'm trying not to try to at least wait until... Oh, wait, I got a water bottle. Hold up, let me drink some water. Maybe that will cool me down. Never mind, the water is room temperature. Well, it's still colder than room temperature, but it's basically room temperature. But yeah, North Carolina is one of the ships I do want to visit in the future, and most likely probably will. I know some of this stuff I might kind of just quickly breeze over. Alright. Let me think about how I'm gonna word this. This ugly, fat, slow fuck. I don't know who decided to design a ship that looks this fucking hideous. Like, this is like the definition of that one really fucking ugly teacher that no one likes, but as a ship. Although from what I heard, it does have good guns. But I really fucking hate this ship. Like, not even due to the fact of it looks like it was a post-Pearl rebuild. I don't know why you would design a ship like that. Like, unless they already got the normal design and added on. Like, to me, the only reason those ships were like that, as far as I'm aware, was because they got sunk and had to get rebuilt, and they couldn't add newer firepower without making the ship wider, I'm assuming. Like, because of all the internal stuff. But why, who in their right mind fucking designed this? Like, motherfucker had to be higher than Snoop when he made this shit. Like, there's just, and then you got, like, the bridge looks like a deck to a fucking ocean, not even ocean line, to a cruise ship. And also, why do you have to, like, the front guns pointing literally right at your men on the AA battery? Like, what if that shit accidentally goes off? At least have your AA battery, like, you can move that down a good few inches to be better. I believe that is all I have to say about this. Sadly, I will have to get the ship and play through it to get Minnesota. I don't mind Minnesota. I feel like mainly because, alright, it doesn't have those weird pipe things that Kansas has. Like, you know, like the exhaust pipe things that kind of just go down. Like, it doesn't have that. Like, when I was first looking at Kansas, I thought it was like some fucking steampunk type shit. This I could see more as a real design. It has more American-looking turrets, I think, or they might be the same. This ship just kind of just looks like a bigger California, but it does have a nice bridge and a fairly interesting superstructure. Like, some ships I do like that, like, really tower above looking like a building, like a lot of British ships do. How the extra hull, like, I still don't understand why it was designed like that. I mean, you could have just made the bow and the stern, not even the stern, you could have just, like, made the bow look a bit different, and it just would have looked, like, perfectly fine. But other than that, yeah, pretty good. I like this ship a lot. I was like, oh, cool, it's not as ugly as Kansas. By the way, Kansas and this ship are also paper ships. Minnesota. Alright, carriers. Langley, CV-1. Not real. Like, I feel like it's the flight deck for being like a first generation aircraft carrier. I feel like the flight deck is a tiny bit too high up, and plus there's not like walls covering the hangar bays. Other than that, I mean, still pretty good looking ship. Like, I'd say in the mid tier. Next, Ranger. I prefer Ranger a lot more, especially because Ranger is all symmetrical. The stern, I don't really quite like the design of. But other than that, I still like Ranger, and like the kind of reminds me of like a little bit of a hot rod with the where the funnels are sticking out. And I kind of wish during the flight launch animation, the funnels would kind of be like, because they're able to pivot. I wish they'd kind of like pivot out, and the squares there like went down to have all flush deck. But yeah, Ranger is pretty good. I'm not sure if Ranger was converted from something, now that I think about it. She may have been. And I believe she's one of 3 US carriers that aren't Essex class that survived the war. Which Saratoga and Enterprise were. I mean, apparently Saratoga also survived. I thought Saratoga sunk. I could be wrong, and it could have just been misinformation. But one thing I read said Saratoga, and I kind of looked it up, and I was, eh. Speaking of Saratoga, we have her sister Lexington. Oh, you know what I just think of? I kind of hope they add Saratoga as a premium ship with the 8-inch guns. Well, like the, I guess, as-built configuration. Anyway, Lexington, I have to get this one thing off my chest. There has to be at least one time they put a projector on this wide-ass funnel and watch the movie. Like, you're not gonna tell me they didn't do that. They had to have at least once. Like, I'm still, like, I'm going to, if I could find a picture of it, then that will, like, make me really happy. But they had to have put a projector to look at the funnel as a movie screen. At least once, like, they had to have. Other than that, I do relatively enjoy playing this ship. She is fast, but not really maneuverable. Kind of low-key built like an egg. Maybe I'll... Fuck it. Maybe I'll start calling her the Easter ship. Yeah, I'm about to start calling her the Easter ship. So, yeah. Her design, I like, is because it's more, like, interesting. So, let's put Lexington down on the list. And that is it for the tech tree. I will not be going through the bureau because I don't have gearing, nor do I have... Yeah, I just don't have gear. That's the only American ship left from the bureau I need? Cool. Ooh, I wonder if they're gonna add like a 4-year anniversary bureau. Alright. Forge. I already said about Missouri kind of being a bit overrated. Ignoring the overrated part, it's still an Iowa-class battleship, and they are perfect. The pinnacle of battleships, so yeah. Now we just need, what's her name? The 4th one, the Wisconsin, and then we will have all the Iowa-class battleships in the game. Alright, now these. Also, just saying for the future, I might, if by the time that I get to like some of the nations that don't really have, like for Atlantico, the Pan American or the other ones, I might just combine them into one video because there's only like one ship from that nation. So yeah. Alright, I'm gonna go through and do the battleships first. Alright, Oklahoma. Basically an exact replica of her sister Nevada, so basically same thing I said there, although I do like the white for the top of the superstructure though. Oklahoma. And then Florida, one of the few paper ships that I actually like and wished could have been made. Well, no, yeah, there are some other paper... Well, American paper ships. Wait, no, because there's... Well, yeah, American paper ships, because a lot of the American ones didn't really look that good. I do want to get Florida in the future, but I believe she only got 14-inch guns, though. But I still like Florida's look. Next is Massachusetts. Massachusetts might be the next ship I get for global, because Massachusetts was going to be the first campaign ship I got, but I didn't finish the campaign in time. Which I am kind of really sad, because from now what I'm hearing, Massachusetts was a good ship, but at the same time I did get the campaign rather late before the campaign ended, so... Yeah, I really, really wish I could have got to Massachusetts. And if I do get to Massachusetts, then that's another ship that... Actually, yeah, the only... I do want to expand the list of ships in this game that I've either been on or at least seen in real life. Now, what I mean by at least, by instead of just saying like been on, is there are some ships that are still technically around, but there's like as wrecks that stick out the water, like Tirpitz, Prince Eugen, Arizona, which are 3 of them that I can name off the top of my head that are still around that you can see, which I would like to see. You can go diving off Prince Eugen, I think, or you at least could have. Either that or those people that made a video of it were just doing something illegal as fuck. So, yeah, now where was I on the... Alright, yeah, I did put Massachusetts down. Next, I believe, is the Arizona. Definitely my favorite standard type battleship. Probably one of my favorite non-Iowa class battleships. Well, ship class. I love the Pennsylvania class, and I hope they add Pennsylvania in the future, even though at this point it's going to be another fucking tier 5 with the same skin. Well, reskinned superstructure, basically. Although I wish Arizona's reload cycle was at least 1 second shorter. And now I got a bit of stuff in this. Oh yeah, apparently, so the Chicago Piano type AA guns, which are the ones in those bowls, apparently they were never on the ships in real life. So I was like, oh, that's... Well, on Arizona in real life. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. Next is Alabama, sister ship to Massachusetts. Another one I also like. Also, from the videos I've seen, the Alabama's museum is because it's kind of like a whole park with what the hell is it called? It has like it is a park with tanks and aircraft. I believe they have it's either an SR-71 or a U-2, not U-2, SR-71 or A-12. I do really want to go there, see that. If I do go there, that's definitely being a video. Alright, cruiser time. Almost done this video. Rochester. If you might not be able to tell, I do like this style of cruiser, although generally I do like ships that have the same amount of guns on the front as the back, main gun wise. Also, I believe those cars aren't to scale slightly, because I mean, yeah, those cars are... Oh wait, never mind, they're not 40 mil. I was about to say those cars are definitely not to scale, but those aren't 40mm mounts. I was gonna say, because on the New Jersey, they do have like 40mm mounts, and I've been on them, and they are not like that much bigger than those cars. Yet again, no, because I wonder what year that pickup is, because it kind of looks like a 53 that we have in the shop, but yeah, Rochester, design-wise, pretty good. Gotta get to the cruiser part on the list. Hold up. Alright, heavy cruisers. Rochester. And then we got Wichita, or aka Witchy, I think some people call her that. Basically on a Brooklyn class hull with the main battery armament of well, same main battery turrets of what the fuck is the ship's name? The Baltimore, but it still has like still has more of that kind of 1930s, 1940s kind of, I guess, messiness to it. Like it's not all like smooth on the deck. Like it's a bit cluttered, which I do like that. So yeah, Wichita's definitely on the list and one of the ships I want to get in the future. So if I can, Wichita, and then skip through to the last. I believe this is the last heavy cruiser here. Indianapolis, another treaty cruiser. I do like the treaty cruisers, so basically, in my opinion, better looking Pensacola. Indianapolis. Alright, now on to light cruisers. Alright, well, I'm already here, so I'm gonna go. Atlanta, I do like the Atlanta class a decent bit. I'd have them classed more at, I'd put them, in my opinion, if I ran a Navy with Atlanta class cruisers, I'd have them as like the leaders of destroyer units or AA ships, which I believe they're also used for, so. Atlanta. Why is this trying to fucking, this is hell bent on fucking auto-correcting it to Atlanta. My phone is hell-bent on auto-correcting it to, not Atlanta, Atlantic. Boise, another one of the Brooklyn-class cruisers, except in the original, I believe this was the treaty form, because the last two was after the treaty ended. Again, with the triple turret on the front, I do love that, although I do kind of think that's a bad idea, having 3 of your guns pointed back at you. Just saying, in case somehow it's loaded when it's like that and it goes off. So, yeah. Another thing, every time I see Boise, I always think it's a new ship. Because I don't see it that much, and I'm like, wait, Boise, huh? Flint, I love a lot better than Atlanta because of the paint scheme. And that's really all there is to say about Flint. And any other light cruisers? No. Alright, destroyer time. Hill, Hill is a paper ship, but I really like the look of Hill. I don't know why, like I just really like it. It just looks like the hull of like a Clemson or Wix class with like a hybrid superstructure. No, like the superstructure of the Sommer, not Somner. Wait, Sommer or Somners? No, Allen M. Somners. Yeah, the Sommer. The one that used to be the campaign ship, the other campaign destroyer with the double turrets. I don't really like Benham, mainly due to how superstructure looks. I believe Charles Hughes. Oh no, yeah, I do like Charles Hughes. Like the superstructure's not it doesn't look like as tall to where it makes the ship look like the ship's like squished together. So yeah. H-U-G Hughes. I don't really like the Sims. I believe the Sims was like one of the first premium ships added when I started playing when I originally started playing the game. I only played for a little bit and stopped, but when I actually got back and started continuously playing it, I believe Sims was like the first. Yeah, it was either Sims or they had like just added West Virginia. Damn, it has been a very long time. I don't know how to pronounce this one, so I'm not even gonna try, but sister ship to the to Farragut, so going on the list. It is really hot in here. And then I believe we have one more, which is the one and only USS Kidd. Got the square Fletcher bridge, which is cool, and a shit ton of AA. Again, Fletcher class, so already going on the list. So, yeah. Alright, and that's basically it for this video. I know there wasn't really that much of my official, like, first impression reaction of these because I have been playing this game for a long time. But it's, I guess, kind of to get a feel of how this would go. And then I will be moving on to doing it with War Thunder after. Which, that one's going to be fun because I haven't really looked at many of the vehicles in that game. So I'm going to have some interesting reactions to some of the vehicles. Anyway, that's going to be it for this video. I hope you enjoyed my fucking dumb video idea of basically going through and rating how something looks in a video game. Well, rating how a ship looks and stuff like that. And this will be Alpha 118 signing off. Damn, it took about a fucking hour and a minute to do this. Shit, that's gonna be a long time for War Thunder. Just to do one of the tech trees.